everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today, we're back with the New York Times and USA Today bestselling author, Lisa Renee Jones. Hey, Lisa, welcome back.
Hi, everyone. I'm glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. And today, I want to talk all about publishing with you. So, how did your business background influence your approach to publishing?
Well, what I tell every author every time I do speak is publishing is a business. I think that authors get really wrapped up in, well, this is a book and it's such a great book and I want everybody to read the book. And they forget that even if an editor loves a book, if it doesn't sell, you don't get another deal
Right.
because it's publishing, it's big corporate publishing. They need to make money.
Mm,
And so you have to think, I have to make money. So if I'm making money, they're making money. So it is about making money, as all business is.
mm,
And so you have to look at it that way and then approach your writing career as a business. What is your business plan? How are you going to get where you want to get? How are you going to approach not just every book and marketing your book, but how are you going to approach your entire career? So I stress that all the time because a lot of times too, authors are just like, I want an agent, I want an agent, I want an agent. I'll take any agent and I'll take any publishing deal. And I saw back in the day, so Kensington decided to start this erotic line, and it was a big deal. It was really before indie publishing was big, and they went at it gangbusters, but they paid the authors like $4,000 a book. That's nothing. And
mm,
I had friends who took it, but not only did they just take the deal, they gave them all their rights, everything, not just their erotic fiction. They gave them everything. And then their name got tied up with them forever. Their sales into the booksellers were low, and it ruined their careers.
mm.
So you have to think about, it's not just say yes. You have to have more more of a business mind than that. You can't just say yes because you're so desperate to get published. And saying yes to the wrong agent does
Mm.
nothing but waste your time because they won't get you where you need to go. So, I mean, I also saw authors who were with this one particular agent who was around for a while. Everybody was talking about this agent. Let them sign all their rights. So when you do a publishing contract, you can do like I have. So when I did a Walmart deal for a thriller, I ended up talking to the buyers through one of my publishers, and they're like, "Well, if you'll write this cowboy romance for us, we'll do your thriller." I'm like, "Okay, I don't write cowboy romance, but fine, I'll write cowboy romance if you'll put my thriller in Walmart." And so my contract said my next cowboy romance. It didn't say my next romance. It said that
Mm.
my option agreement was for my next cowboy romance. So I wasn't locked in at all. So those things matter, like getting educated, educate yourself. And getting educated nowadays to people, they think that means TikTok. That is not how to get educated. TikTok only
Right.
tells you a tiny little piece of the puzzle. You have to get out there, talk to authors who've been around the track, talk to, agents, go to conventions where agents and editors and, are talking. Learn, learn, learn. Don't assume you know everything.
On the publishing journey, you've published traditionally and independently. What are the pros and cons of each, and what advice would you offer to authors trying to decide between these two paths?
I wouldn't decide between the two. I would do both. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's my personal opinion. But indie was good to me. I started with traditional, but what can happen, like I started in category, is it's like an actor. They're like, oh, he can only play a trash man. And it's like,
Mm,
oh, she can only write category romance. I couldn't get out of category romance. So I started publishing in indie and I started killing it. And so I had a series go to auction for high six figures, and then it optioned to stars for television. And it was like all of a sudden New York wanted me. I was like, oh, she can write that stuff. So I
right.
had to make my own path. But I'll tell you this, when indie started, I started making a lot of money. I can remember one of the publishers I so wanted to publish with offered me a deal for that very same book for $10,000. And I remember the surreal moment that I went, no, I can make that in a week. I mean,
Right.
I can make that in a few days. And so I said no. And that's the exact same series that went to auction for a high six figures. So
Wow.
the moral of this story is don't just say yes. Don't go, oh, they finally said yes. But it's
Right.
good yes. It's a screw me yes.
Yes.
Sorry, that's kind of a crass way to put it, but I mean, you've got to have enough confidence in yourself to just say no if it's the right thing to do. And the great thing about indie publishing is it can give you that confidence, but also, again, what goes up must come down. There were a lot of people who sold huge to New York back in 2012. That market kind of crashed, and a lot of those people disappeared. Others stayed in indie and did both, and they came out just fine. They didn't need to be
Mm.
published with New York. So, I mean, there's a cycle to business. So not having all your eggs in one basket matters. And that includes the US market. Look at publishing in other markets. There's so much money in other markets. Also, you want to see the world do well in other markets because they'll take you to those markets.
Could you share some tips for authors on finding the right literary agent or publisher, especially in this current crazy market?
Yes. So Publishers Marketplace is a good place to look. Look at what deals they're doing. It only costs like $25 a month. You can see who's doing what deals. Not everybody posts there, but most do. And you also want to look at, so there's a stage for agents. There's young and hungry, and young doesn't mean age. It means young in their career. So you could start agenting at 40 or 50 and be young in your career, you know.
Right.
So if they're young and hungry and they're good, they could actually, they want to make money. So they're trying to do deals. They want to make you money because it makes them money. Then you have agents who have made bank on authors and they're not hungry anymore. So
Mm.
they're going to work, but they're not necessarily, there's no urgency to it. Whereas you feel that urgency to your career. So you need to look at how hungry are they right now? Doesn't matter what
Mhm.
they did. What are they doing right now? And on Publishers Marketplace, you can see their deals. What are they doing right now? Also, if you say, oh, this agent has this author that I admire so much, but
Mm.
did they sell that author or did they inherit that author? Because
Right.
a lot of times what'll happen is once an author gets big, they'll go, oh, this agency has these other resources, so I'm going to go over here. But that agency is really kind of a fat cat agency, but they have a great film division or they have a great foreign division or whatever it might be, or they just get mad at their agent and they move to another agent, even though
Right.
they sold them. So, because strategy wise, once you sell big, you have to stay big and you have to feel you have the right mind, you know, guiding you. So that agent might be a great agent for later if you're established and you don't need somebody making bank for you right now, but they're not hungry right now when you need to be at the earlier stage in your career. So you have to look at, who's hungry now, who's making deals right now in your genre.
Going through the publishing journey and just the industry since you first started, how have you adapted to the changes in the industry as an author?
Well, I started in category romance, then kind of got stuck there. Then when I first started doing traditional, for some reason, everybody invited me into a novella to write a novella in an anthology. Anthologies were big. I became the queen of anthologies at New York publishers, but could never get a single title deal. And it
Mm.
was so frustrating. And so when indie started to hit, I'm like, I'm just going to try it.
Mm.
And I got lucky. I hit really, really big in indie. I started making, big money fast. So I just tried something different. If I couldn't get in the door one way, I got in the door another way, because then shortly after that I went to auction in New York and, got my first New York big contract, 6-figure contract. So it just was finding another path. So I think you just have to watch what's going on, try and be there early, but you have to be careful because sometimes people get in the mode of just chasing every trend, and that can be distracting to quality writing and really having a career plan. But in this case, it was a complete industry change, and I just
Right.
kind of jumped in there early.
Finally, I want to ask you just about your entire experience writing trilogies and publishing them, and just these series. What are some of the challenges that authors should be prepared for when publishing trilogies, and how can they overcome them?
You need to sell in big on the first book, because if they
Mm.
haven't read the first book, they can't read book 2 and 3. If it's a continuing, now you can write a trilogy that's a single title trilogy. That's not as difficult. You can market those as single titles. But if you're writing a continual story that's 3 books, you have to sell in that first book hard. You have to hit that first book just over and over and over and over again. So first book sales is everything.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much. That was wonderful insight on publishing.
Glad to be here.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with the New York Times and USA Today bestselling author, Lisa Renee Jones. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.